All right. Ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Thank you again so much for taking time to talk with Mr. Mayor. We're here to talk, of course, about what just happened here, actually. Let me get that turned off. Okay. Your power just went out, and which is something that's been happening to a lot of people around our area. This winter storm is just bringing unprecedented amounts of snow and winter weather and temperatures we hadn't really seen in a while. So what steps has the city taken today to help the citizens of Wichita Falls?
It's been a lot of coordination right now with a lot of nonprofits, some of our shelters, making sure that we got people that are able to stay warm. There's some warming centers that the city's going to open at MPEC. I think First Baptist Church, One Life Church, Salvation Army, Faith Refuge, Faith Mission, all that coordination to make sure that we can get people warm. Ours is going to be kind of a brief, get warm, charge your phone, here's a bottle of water. Other places are going to be overnight type facilities. For us, we're going to make sure that infrastructure is going to be up and running. That's right now, it's wreaking havoc on our infrastructure with temperatures like this. We haven't seen temperatures like this. And I think we have a responsibility to citizens to make sure that we have running water right now. So that's a big deal.
Absolutely. And is that why you draw the distinction between it being a temporary relief center and a warming center?
Yeah, so some are just going to be warming centers, and actually, and some are going to be shelters. There needs to be a distinction between that. There are some places that will have you come in, and they're not going to have food for you, but it's going to be some temporary relief until maybe somebody can pick you up and take you to a shelter if you need that overnight stay. Right now, I'm telling all citizens to make sure to reach out to their loved ones. If you have a neighbor, elderly neighbor, your church, whoever you think may be in need, make sure to reach out to them, make sure they're going to be okay for the night. Right now, I've talked to Pastor Bob McCartney at the First Baptist Church. He's got their congregation trying to house people, and they also have some volunteerism efforts going through to make sure the Salvation Army has enough volunteers to make sure that we get people fed, clothed, nice warm blankets. Faith Mission, he reached out, Steve Spark reached out, said they have extra blankets. If they reach capacity, they still have blankets that you can still give out to other people. So.
Okay, and so are you urging people who come to this place at the MPEC that staying overnight is not allowed, and why is that?
Well, it's not allowed because we're just not geared up for that. I mean, there are places, nonprofits that are geared up for that. This is going to be kind of a makeshift, a temporary relief until you can get to a place. We really lean on our nonprofits to make sure that they have those facilities up and running. We've been on the phone with them constantly that they do, and they have capacity left. I think it's up to us to make sure they can get to those facilities. So this would be a kind of a temporary, where there'll be different levels of relief. Ours to be more that temporary level to get you to a place if you do need overnight shelter.
Okay, and so we've been getting a lot of feedback from our viewers saying that maybe the city had waited too long to open up this relief center, as you're calling it. What would you say to that person if you had, if that person was?
Yeah, I think people are just referencing to a city, funded relief center. We already had those relief centers opened up. We had the First Baptist Church open their West Campus. They had hardly any visitors. They weren't strained by any means. They had the other, I think it's Hope Church, that didn't have a whole lot of visitors. They weren't strained. Reached Out Salvation Army, they haven't been strained yet. Faith Refuge, Faith Mission, they still have capacity. So we weren't at a point where we needed to. We weren't seeing these resources, our community resources, strained yet. Reached out, we decided, even though they're not strained, let's open up one more. Maybe ours would be that lesser level, that temporary level. But I think, a lot of the viewers were thinking it's responsibility to see Wichita Falls when we have all these nonprofits that this is what they do. They're geared up for this. They have shelter, they have food, they have staff, they've been trained. They're able to take families, separate them. Right now, we just have the MPEC, and it's not geared up for that. We don't have any cots, we don't have any extra food, we don't have the staff that's geared up for that. So you have these community assets. You want to use those community assets first before you start using anything else. So we're more of a backup. But I think it's nice that they have some place. We have some place open. We'll see. I've told them to keep in touch with me, let me know how many people come. If we don't have food, maybe I'll go grab a dozen pizzas and take them out there to some people. But we kind of see where we're at and where we land. And this is something we're working on hour by hour, making sure that we've got our citizens taken care of.
And about how many people can this place accommodate? I've never been inside.
MPEC is huge. I mean, if we had to, it could be a triage center if we wanted it to. It's just we don't have, really we're putting people in chairs. We're trying to socially space people. We're just not set up for that. The other centers, I'm trying to get those numbers back, how many people they can house. I thought they would be full. We'd be at capacity. They still said, as of this morning, they still have capacity. What we're finding is a lot of people that are in these type of temperatures are finding friends and family to go ahead and house with. And we're having a lot of good Christian people out there with churches that are housing a lot of people right now. So those facilities aren't strained, which is good. In times like this, I think a lot of people are trying to step up.
All right, great. And so moving forward, we're expected to get more snow tonight, believe it or not,
Yep.
and potentially even tomorrow. What is your advice to people out there who, are just tired of these rolling blackouts and are trying to, figure out whether their particular zip code is being targeted, or what would you say to anything like that?
It's tough. We were just here earlier at my house. We had electricity a couple hours ago, and then poof, it went out again. We didn't know we were going to have these rolling blackouts like they were, but we have had a pretty good warning about this weather. It wasn't a sudden event. We've had it all week to kind of plan for this. If you planned poorly, there are a lot of resources out there. Channel 3 has posted all the resources out there. You can reach out to them. They can get you in contact. Our other news stations, TRN, City of Wichita Falls, we're posting that on our Facebook and our websites. If you are in need, don't hesitate to reach out, because these temperatures are going to get pretty cold, and we're going to make sure that our citizens are taken care of.
Okay, and let me check one thing. Let me ask one more thing, just looking ahead. Obviously, there's community-based organizations that are helping out, which is great, nonprofits, the city stepping in to do something. What kind of message do you think does that send to the city that, when you fall in hard times, there are people there to help you?
Yeah, in this community, we're no stranger to collaboration of all our nonprofits, our churches, all our government resources. We've been through tornadoes, we've been in floods, droughts. This is no different. This is just another different type of event. And it's nice to see that. By the time I started making phone calls this morning, things were already in action. People have already reached out. When I reach out to First Baptist Church, they're like, Mayor, we've already got this going. We've got the congregation housing people. We're opening up our West Campus. We're trying to get light snacks over there. We're trying to make sure that we have transportation. I have city council members that have really stepped up to bat. They're offering their own vehicles to take people to some of these shelters. The shelters, I told them to reach out to me if they needed anything. The only thing they've said is we could use more blankets and our parking lot cleared off. So I've got somebody trying to go clear off a parking lot for them. So it's really good when you have a community that comes together to take care of its own citizens.
All right, great. We'll stand by for further updates and just hunker down and get through this winter storm. Thank you so much for your time today, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Perfect.
Yep.
That's it.
Easy enough.